Hi, I'm Nick Salazar for TriRig.com. I'm here with the legendary Mark Allen, 6-time Ironman World Championship, and this is the 25th anniversary of the legendary Iron War in 1989 that started his reign as Ironman World Champion, sort of taking over from Dave Scott's previous reign. Mark, how you doing?
Great. It's wild to think it's been 25 years since we had that amazing race. And actually, Dave and I are both going to be here this year, doing a lot of appearances and just telling our story.
Reminiscing about the past, as it were?
Yeah, maybe a little more fun for me than him, but you know, it's been an amazing year.
All right. So talking about the history of the race, one thing I wanted to ask you about was the role of equipment over that time and how you see that has changed, possibly. I mean, other things have evolved, like, you know, training protocols and nutrition and, you know, recovery methods, but how, in your opinion or in your view, has equipment changed during that time?
I think you know, triathlon has been the hotbed for innovation in swimming, cycling, and running. I mean, you know, we don't have the same regulations as cycling had, so you know, so we were able to do everything aero and just see where the limits were with it, and then also, you know, a lot of the skins you see for swimming. Yeah, swimming's faster, cycling is definitely more aero. A lot of the training tools with Garmin's and everything that can be tracked. It's, you know, you still have to develop your own kind of intuition about your body and listen and know what pacing is really right for you on the day. But I think the tools have really helped people dial in the training better, and then also on race day, just giving it that little extra bit of ease that we didn't have.
Do you see that that's changed sort of the tactics of the race, especially like at the World Championship race now, or is that still just something that plays out with sort of the field of athletes and other factors?
No, I mean, the technology is, it's important to keep yourself kind of in the game. You know, if your bike is heavy and it's not aero and you're not in a good position, obviously you're not going to be able to race at your peak. However, you know, everybody gets that dialed in, so then the playing field ends up being evened out again.
So it becomes a bit of an arms race.
Yeah, I mean, you still have to have your strategy, you have to have your body knowledge, you got to be able to deal with the conditions and the chaos that can happen. But if you don't have the technology, you might not be in that game, you might not be in the mix, because obviously at the top, you know, if you're a minute slower on the swim and you miss a packing on the bike, that could be your race. Or on the bike, if you're working that little, you know, 5, 10, 20 watts harder to keep pace with the other guys, then you know what's going to happen on the run.
Yeah. So who's your pick for this year, for the men and women?
Well, I think the women, you got to put your money on Linda Carefree. You know, her race last year was one of the best sporting performances ever in any sport, I think.
The world record at that.
Yeah, and men's race, you know, my personal favorite is Tim O'Donnell. I coach him.
All right.
He's really had a solid preparation going into this, but you know, the men, there hasn't seemed to be anybody who's just been dominating this year, so I think it's going to be a very, very strategic race, and just whoever can pull it out on that day.
All right, so from Mark Allen, you have it, the race predictions, both from the same household, Tim O'Donnell and Miranda Carfrae. Thanks so much for your time, Mark. Have a great week.
Yeah, you too.